I invite you to imagine moving to the US, or better said, migrating to the US, living in Section 8 housing, hearing gunshots in your neighborhood, and being told that you have to be in all remedial classes. That's the story I want to tell you today. This story is not about morning routines or scheduling or what you need to do to wake up at 5 a.m. and not hit that snooze alarm. This story is about limitless potential. This is a story of an old student of mine, one that keeps popping in my head lately. I've been dreaming about him, and not only that, but the other day I saw him walking on the street, and I've never run into this child out of school before, and all of a sudden I'm seeing them constantly. So I asked the universe, what do you want me to do with this information? And the answer was limitless potential. This story is the story of a boy who was in 6th grade and read at a 2nd grade reading level. This is the story of a boy who spoke somewhere between English and his native language, but was literate in neither. A boy who was told of his power and actually believed it. A boy who chose to consciously rewrite his programming. Now, programming is interesting. We're all programmed in a certain way. You see, our parents program us from the time we're born to adapt and be however they are. What they believe, we believe. We see them as our savior, as the one we need to follow, as the one we need to be like. We even model our behaviors after theirs. We model our reactions, our emotions off of theirs, or off of their response to our emotion. Moreover, as we age, we start making friends and interacting with media. This is where we learn how to fit in and how to be in this culture. And of course, we have schooling, which teaches us how to be good employees or how to follow the rules that society sets out for us. This program is constantly being run without our knowledge. You see, when you're not making a conscious decision, your programming will take over, because that's what your subconscious does. There's so much information out there that we have to have a set of programs to run all that information through, to deduce things down. However, our programming is so limited to what we experienced as a kid, who we were raised with, what our financial situation was. The more we see, do, and learn, the more we opt for new programming, the more we change and modify our software to have a new lens that we look through. But some of us actually narrow our point of view more and more and more. These are people that believe that they should live out their old habits and condemn new ones. These are the type of people that are always complaining about this generation, or I could never do that, or it's not as easy as it seems. See, this student was only 12 years old, and he already had the no software update necessary. I am what I am. I'm stupid. I'm in remedial classes. That's who I am. I don't get anything. I'm not going to be better. But what many of us don't believe is the monster that we create in our head is actually usually bigger than it needs to be. We hear a story and believe it. You're at a 2nd grade reading level. You need to be in remedial classes. We start to believe these things, and then we cultivate them by repeating in our mind, I'm not good at reading. I don't understand what I read. This is confusing. We build this narrative and cultivate it so large and so big that we fear the energy it's going to take to fix it. Because every time we thought about it, every time we considered that or reminded ourselves of that, we created a bigger monster to face. Now, these monsters are not only internal, they're also sometimes external. However, what we do internally is what really shapes us. Now, let me tell you a story of the external monsters this kid had. As much as these monsters are generally internal, they usually start from the external. One day, as this child was reading in my class, let's call him Chris, another student started laughing and said, "Do you need help or something?" To which I responded, Chris speaks 2 languages. This is his 2nd, and I would say he's doing a pretty good job. Learning is really hard. You only speak 1 language. If you were to go and learn his language and try to read it, you would probably have a hard time. There's nothing wrong with learning being hard, but there is something wrong with bullying a kid who's doing his best. You see, people can be so much more than they are today if they practice. This story is not only about Chris from the projects. This story is also about Profesora Peña, who read at a 3rd grade reading level in 6th grade until one teacher looked at me in the face and said, "I'm going to bump you up to honors." I didn't have the test scores for it. I didn't think I could do it, but she believed in me. And now I have a master's. I was not a master back then. I couldn't read back then, but I can now. In that moment, without hesitation, Chris continued reading, doing his best, stumbling over words, and the other kids in class helped him and were excited. At the end of class, the student that actually made fun of him went to him, told him he did a really good job reading, asked him about his second language, and said he was sorry. From that day forward, Chris would volunteer to read all the time, stumbling over words, butchering the pronunciation, but he started to learn and get better. By the end of the year, his reading and writing scores increased exponentially. You see, potential has little to do with morning routines or schedule. I said little, it has something to do with that, but very little. It has more to do with an attitude, the attitude that you believe you can achieve, and practicing what it is you want out of life. You see, consistent practice consistently makes you who you are or who you want to be. If you believe that you can do whatever it is you want to do and you go out and practice it instead of sitting and fearing it, you're gonna create a smaller monster that you have to face because you're already doing it, you're already acting on it instead of dwelling on what could be or how difficult it's gonna be. You see, helping Chris cultivate his limitless potential through practice and growth, I didn't only help Chris realize how limitless his potential is, but it actually taught me as a visual learner how limitless my soul's potential is. As I cultivated his power, I remembered the teacher that cultivated mine. The teacher that moved me into honors courses, even though my test scores weren't good enough. You see, I saw me in him. What I understood in that moment is that if each one teaches one, then my soul truly has limitless potential. Behold, my soul will outlive my body. Because when Chris's great-grandson needs someone to cultivate limitless potential in him, Chris will know how from the modeling that Profesora Peña did for him. Remember, your limitless potential can and will ripple for millennia. So act with the intention to make the world a better place. And if you haven't heard it today, here's just a reminder that you are worthy, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, and you're capable of everything you want to achieve in this lifetime. I truly honor your becoming, and I can't wait to see you live out your soul's calling. And obviously, it's not Profesora Peña's style to leave you guys without some actionable steps. So let's get into that. For this part of the video, make a copy of the Google Docs I shared down below. It's a bunch of journaling prompts that will help you reach your limitless potential. I'm going to run through these questions with you and model how I might answer them so that you have a structure to go off of to help you in this journey. If you've never even considered any of these questions, that's okay. Give yourself time to not only change your mind, but to think of these questions very thoughtfully. The intention while answering these questions is not to focus on the end goal. I know a lot of us do this, but we're gonna focus on the journey, the small steps it takes to get to where you wanna be in final form. These are gonna be the small actions you can take daily to reach your final form. After all, evolution happens over time, not immediately, so give yourself time to reach those goals. And if you don't do it in this generation, that's okay. Remember, your soul ripples for millennia, so you got plenty of time. Let's get into it. The first question is, how do you want to be remembered? Now, this question kind of has to do with the ego, about your own personality, who you are. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want this human, this body, this person, this soul to be remembered? This is a more egotistical question, but it's really important to ponder. We have egos for a reason. The way I would answer that is I want to be seen as someone that progressed Hispanic culture to some capacity. I want to be someone that when they say my name, people feel good. They think about the person that helped them be who they want to be, who saw the light in them that others might not have seen, who believed in their crazy ideas of what they could do and what they can be and told them they could do it. The next question is, what do I want others to feel as my soul ripples for millennia? What I want people to feel as my soul ripples through generations is love. Is to love themselves for whatever it is they came here to do, to just be themselves in every capacity. I want people's becoming to feel honored by me. That's what I want people to feel for generations. I want people to feel cultivated in their highest form. When all is calm and still, what do I feel is calling me? Now, this question changes all the time. When you're being called by the universe, it's like an energy thing. When you're putting out the energy that you're trying to give back and do good and be different and get in line with your soul, if you start asking the universe this question, it will tell you what your calling is in this moment. Just like when I asked, why do I keep seeing Chris subconsciously in my dreams and even in person? That's crazy. Why do I keep seeing him? And I got the answer that I needed to talk about limitless potential. So when we're listening, we're being being fed the story that we need to move on and to help evolve ourselves. So make sure to ask yourself this question. The more you do it, the more your answers will change and shift, but the more you do it, the more intention you live with, and the more you can do what it is the universe has in store for you. The next question is, what are your gifts? You were born with a specific amount of gifts. There's all sorts of different intelligences. There's communicative intelligence, which is going to be like Oprah Winfrey, right? There is mathematical genius like Albert Einstein, right? There is musical genius like Bad Bunny, right? So there's all these different types of genius. You just need to cultivate yours and really decide what it is. And you do that by actually identifying what some of your gifts are. My gifts are teaching, learning, loving, listening, helping others become limitless, guiding people to their soul's purpose, setting healthier boundaries. That's actually the name of my LLC, is Healthier Boundaries. Forgiving, accepting death, embodying my soul, and lastly, of course, giving. Now, once you've identified some of the things that you're really good at, it's time to move on to the next question. How can I serve in the evolution of the human species? Now, this is a huge, huge question. How are you, one singular human, going to change the course of the world, of our evolutionary process for the better, of course. We're not thinking for the worse. So how are you going to evolve the world for the better? Again, as you can see, this has a lot to do with my strengths and the earlier questions. For me personally, my goal is to help people find their soul and their life's purpose as much as possible, to listen to their inner voice so that they can be more fulfilled, more at peace. That is my service to the world. I want everyone to see that they're limitless and untethered to the physical world. Now that we have decided how we're going to serve others, remember, value is only derived from value. So you have to give value to receive value. So how are you going to serve to others? Once you've determined that, then let's start doing the steps it takes to actually get to the goal. So the first question related to this is, what are 3 small steps I can take today to embody the person I want to be, to serve the world, to serve in the evolution of everyone? For me personally, the 3 steps I'm going to take today are, First, I made this video, which is going to help people reach their limitless potential. Second, I'm going to yoga so that I can cultivate my inner peace and my calmness. And third, I'm going to a concert to be with a community of people that I love and respect and feel the good vibrations of the music. So those are 3 steps. They're not extravagant. These goals, as you can see, have so little to do with money or waking up early or scheduling. These are just to embody the truest form that I want to be. The next question is, what are 3 things I'm going to do this week to embody my soul and evolve humanity? This week, I'm actually going to be having a party with some friends to rebond my community and reconnect with the people I love most. I'm also going to feed the Hispanic day laborers that sit out looking for work. A lot of them don't have enough money to feed their family, and they usually take that money to feed their family and sometimes don't even feed themselves. So I'm going to go out there this week and help serve these people. Moreover, I'm going to continue my 30 days of good deeds that I'm doing around my community just to make the world a better place. I'll probably go pick up some trash or help some other people out in some capacity. Not sure how yet, but I know I'm going to do that. The last one are, what are 3 small steps you can take this month to propel human evolution and the evolution of your soul? Not only am I doing those 3 things this week and those 3 things today, but I'm also going to downtown Phoenix to help create a community garden with some change makers here in the community. I cannot wait to meet that community. It's really going to connect me with people that have similar visions to me and propel the world forward. I will also be helping a friend. She's going out of town, and I'm going to become her general contractor and help her manage the scheduling and everything for her property. I'm also going to go to the Chicano Pride Ride, which is a biker ride for a bunch of people in the Arizona community to generate money for the nonprofit I work for called I Rise Foundation, and I'm really excited for that as well. So these are just some of the things I'm doing to make sure that I'm living my purpose and my vision for my soul and my evolution. So as you can see, these journal prompts really help us to fall in love with the process, with the journey, because the end goal doesn't freaking matter. At the end of the day, we're all gonna die, and this is all gonna be for naught unless you find purpose in your routines. If the small acts you make throughout your week, throughout your day, throughout your month are intentional. As you pursue this process of journaling your limitless potential, I know a lot of times we tend to run into our limiting beliefs. If you feel like as you're writing this stuff out, you're starting to think to yourself, well, I couldn't do that, or that seems really difficult, or no, like I can't make that big of a change, then I'm gonna actually direct you guys back to my last video called From Minimal to Spiritual, where I talk about limiting your limiting beliefs. And I actually have a journaling prompt in the description of that video. So go ahead and grab that if you need help limiting your limiting beliefs. So on that note, guys, please set intentions to evolve to your highest capacity, to find your soul's purpose, and to change the world for the better. Take care, be safe, and honor your becoming. Love you all.